Hi everyone, it's Kim here. Back in December, I asked you on both Twitter and Discord what you would love to see in the next Animal Crossing game. This could be something that would be an improvement to Animal Crossing New Horizons, or just something completely new, some great idea you'd love to see, or even something that from a previous game that you wish was in the newer Animal Crossing game. I got a few replies. Some of them are great. I haven't had a complete read because I want to react to them properly in this video without reading them beforehand. And so we'll start going through them, and along the way I might give you a couple of my things I would love to see in the next Animal Crossing game. Now on the screen, you're going to see me playing Happy Hammer Paradise. This is for my new island Camembert. I am speed building and trying to get 30 houses done so that I can customize the houses on my new island Camembert. If you have not seen Camembert before, it's a new island where I am not time traveling and I am not going to treasure islands. This is just so I can focus on getting to know the villagers a bit more and just playing the proper story again. And just, I'm having and just to have fun with it again. I am honestly really enjoying myself. Let's get started. First up, we have a tweet from Ryan, and the tweet says, I think if we have a town or island, we should be able to delete that island and move to a new island without losing our DIYs, etc. Your Nook Miles are lost perhaps, but not your bells. Maybe the Nook Miles pay for the move of items like furniture, etc. Now, this makes sense to me that you would possibly lose your Nook Miles because they are for work that you have done on that island. So it would make sense, island or town I should say, it would make sense that they would not go to the new town or island because they're to redeem on that previous island. So I get that point. I do like this. I like that it's kind of building on a feature we already have where you can move in, but it's making it a little bit better that you don't lose all your hard progress from that previous island. The second part of Ryan's tweet says, to add, you can always revisit past islands like dream addresses. It would prevent the do I delete stigma when people have learned and achieved so much. A rollover program would be the best to allow for new islands but retain progress. Yeah, so that is something I struggle with a lot. I sometimes would love to move on from, say, my long-term island Kokomo, but I don't want to lose everything I've done on that island. It's 18 months old. I'm really happy with the progress, and being able to say delete it but not lose all of that stuff would be really cool. I mean, granted, you can just keep buying more Switches, but that's silly. Which brings us to a tweet from Larissa, where Larissa said multiple islands per console. And yeah, so that's something that would definitely fit in with this. I would love to have multiple save games for sure. I do understand why we can't. It's because the Switch is quite limited itself. It's not a super high spec console, and so it can't handle more than one save game, and I understand that. But yeah, it would be nice to be able to have more than one island or more than one save game for sure. Larissa also said more custom design slots and the ability to place furniture at an angle. Now, the furniture at an angle, I'll come to that later on because I'm pretty sure someone else suggested something similar. But as for more custom design slots, yes. So this is something that would be an improvement on something that's already in Animal Crossing New Horizons. And I never used to run out of design slots, but in my last couple of islands, because I'm just doing so much more on them, I am running out every time, and I'm having to get really picky about what custom designs I'm going to keep, which I'm going to get rid of. And the other thing is a lot of the amazing paths that people design use like 30-40 slots in the custom designs tab, so it doesn't leave much for other things, and I want to be able to use as many as possible. I mean, granted, like having thousands would just get really annoying because you'd kind of lose your place, but you know, like a couple of hundred maybe would be cool. I definitely agree with that one. Cinna suggested the ability to place items under bigger items, like the big mushroom, and you can see on the screen the big mushroom. I want to be able to put a bucket under the mushroom cap. Space should be counted 3D in the game, not just 2D on the ground space. Heck yes. So I did find, by the way, the other day, there is an item that you can put things underneath, and that is I think it's called the wedding bell or the wedding arch or something. It's one of Reese and Cyrus's wedding items. And I saw it on stream and they'd put a plant in the middle. And I thought, what? I've never seen this happen before. But I love that some of these items you can put things on top, but not underneath. And it would look so cute having something like a mushroom and then like some books underneath, or even a smaller mushroom underneath. I totally agree with this one. It's frustrating. Arizati took this one step further and said it would be great to allow all items to intersect and even occupy the same space if so desired. Also, allow for selected items to use the same shade of colour instead of 6 different shades of blue. And can we please adjust the height of items so the benches are level already? Alright, we'll start with the first sentence on this one. I agree. I really love that. I've been playing a lot of The Sims 4 lately, well, a little bit more again, and I really love that I can line stuff up properly and put it diagonally and, just make it look good. At the moment, you can have things and they have to have these like half space gaps between them, and it's like, why? It's like everything's focused on, based on a square, but you can't put things within the same square. A good example of this is the fencing. It's so annoying not being able to line stuff up next to fencing. You have to have this big gap next to it, and it stops me using the fencing quite often because I want to be able to line stuff up properly. Same in like the kitchen. I want my kitchen appliances to line up properly, but like between each other. I don't need these big gaps. And as for the rest of Arizati's comment, yes. So this is something I notice a lot, especially when playing Happy Home Paradise. Firstly, why do so many items have different shades of colours that don't match? Why can't we have like more blues that are the same, or more, pinks? Why do they have to make the items clash? Sometimes I want to do a blue kitchen and I can't because all the blues are different and then they don't work together. They're not blues that work together, and it's so frustrating. And it's the same with, yes, the height of the items. So sometimes you'll have like a bench top that's really high, or a table, and then the oven or stove is really low, and it's like, why aren't these sorts of things level? It just makes sense for them to be level. Granted, I know a lot of the items in Animal Crossing New Horizons were outsourced to other teams in different companies to design, but come on, they could have had some basic design rules about, heights and all that sort of thing. And it also even comes down to, why are so many of the items out of proportion from each other? Like, you can come across something and it looks huge, but in real life it's a tiny item, and yeah, that does frustrate me, and I would love a bit more just consistency with everything. I think that all just falls under consistency, please. Granted, okay, I've got to just stop for a moment here and say a lot of this is sounding like complaining about Animal Crossing New Horizons, and granted there are limitations with that game, granted there are things I would love to be different, but I know it's not going to happen until the next game, and I'm perfectly happy with that. I absolutely love that game still so much. These are things, firstly, that we would like to see fixed in the next game, I think. Quiverson suggested more options for partition walls, pillars, and island counters, favours and quests centered around special characters, and a way to get other clothing variants without having to find them at the tailors, like the clothing version of what Cyrus does. And so I'll start with the first one. That definitely falls into what we were talking about before with the consistency, but also, yeah, I find it kind of frustrating sometimes that there isn't much variety with the pillars. Like, I often want to use brick pillars near the brick fireplace, but there aren't any bricks that match, and it would just be really cool, I agree, to have more options with those, more colours, and yeah, just a little bit more variety and consistency again. As for favors and quests centered around the special characters, I would love to see more of this. Like, we've got the little things we do, like helping Gulliver and Gullivar and helping Wisp, but it would be really cool if there was more of this. I agree. It's so much fun doing these things, but they get really repetitive because there are only a few special characters we can do it for. I would love to see more of that. And as for a way to get other clothing variants without having to find them at the tailors, so this one is interesting because I agree with it. It, like, yes, but for me, the way to fix it would not to be remove it from the tailors. It would be to let us bulk buy when we're in the changing room. It's so frustrating, isn't it, going in there and having to buy one top at a time when it would be just so easy for them to let us, build a whole lot, like buy a whole lot at once. I don't understand that limitation. That's one that does get a little bit frustrating, especially I'm noticing at the moment with me playing a new island and I'm having to buy a lot more clothes, and yeah, it would be helpful. It does make me think one thing that would be really cool is if we could make clothing and customize it using the sewing machine. You know how we can do that with the items with the DIY table and cooking in the kitchen with the kitchen items. It would be really cool if we could make our own clothing using DIYs and customization kits. I would love that. I hadn't even thought of that before, but that's something that I just am thinking of. I would really, really love to be able to do. Alright, next one. Momo said, items we and villagers can use. I want to skate with them, jump on trampolines too, and improve on what Pocket Camp has. And also ride bikes around town. Mini games like a New Leaf. I used to host a weekly get together and it was chaotic fun playing certain games with others. I love that. That's so cool. I definitely agree with all of this. I would love to be able to use the items in the game. Some of them you can, but it would be so cool to be able to, jump on trampolines or just interact with the items with the villagers as well. That would be so good. And I loved that they gave us all these vehicles in the 2.0 update, and we had all the bikes and scooters and stuff, but we can't drive them. We can just push them around. That would be really cool. And as for the mini games in New Leaf, I love those. They are a lot of fun. Um, I've never been lucky enough to play it with other people because I started playing New Leaf a lot later than others, but they are a lot of fun, and I think something like that would be really cool in the next game again because it is missed, and we do need things that add a bit more of a social aspect to the next Animal Crossing game because granted there's a lot you can do to socialize with friends in New Horizons, but it does, like other things, get a bit too repetitive and not something you necessarily want to do over and over. But yeah, I love that. That's some great suggestions. Captain Combustion says some really great things. It's a long read, but I'll read it and then I'll go through. Actually, no, I'm going to read the first bullet point and then the next one, but I'll react to each bullet point as we go. First one is combine the campsite with New Leaf's RV system. Instead of visiting a tent, have a random villager visit every week in an RV with a small selection of furniture you can order from as if it were a catalogue. If they keep a separate currency like Nook Miles or Meow coupons, it'd be a good spot to use it. You could also have special holiday NPCs like Pave and Jingle visit this way and have some of the exclusive furniture available without having to wait for or time travel to the event. Yeah, I love this. So that's something I really did like in New Leaf, was seeing who was visiting in their RV and the furniture you could get from them. It was cool. I like that they added Halves Island and that some of the NPCs were there and you could, get items customized or go buy some flowers and stuff, but it's a little bit different and I like it. I think that would be a really cool way to have villagers visit as well. And I also would love in the next game more consistency with visits. Like sometimes you can go for 3 weeks without anyone visiting, and I think it would be awesome if we could have more than that. And I would love to see NPCs visit again in that way and stay, rather than just for their events. The next one from Captain Combustion is unlockable customization. Once you get the default color varieties of certain pieces of furniture, you unlock the ability to color parts of it yourself. And to prevent not safe for work stuff, just restrict it to 1 or 2 different shades for the whole thing. And also maybe restrict the ability to furniture that's just 1 or 2 different colors by default. This could be a way to have all the furniture in your house match shades of color, even if they're from different sets. Yeah, something like this would be quite cool. It would be really cool to, like, not just choose from a few different varieties, but be able to just put random colors on random spots. I like that. That would be fun. Next one is buying multiple colors of the same outfit at the same time. Add a menu to select which one to wear on the way out, if any. Yes. I think I gave a good rant about that before. I agree. But this would be cool. Like, having it, yeah, in menus, I like that. Fourth bullet point from Combustion is let us upgrade the shop more than once. Knockington's had a fantastic theme and the furniture selection was superb. Yeah, I definitely think that would be cool. And I'd also like to see more shops, I think. Yeah, it just kind of like Nook's Cranny. It's like, cool, I've upgraded it once. I gotta go each day to look at the items, but I would just love a bit more, like work, like, I don't know what the way to put it is, like progress in it, I guess. I agree. Fifth one is have villagers who moved away be able to visit in certain areas. New Leaf had this with Main Street. New Horizons could have done this with Halves Island in 2.0. Missed opportunity, but whatever. But I don't think anybody would object to seeing old villagers in the shop or the roast or in the museum, for example, even if they aren't outside walking around. Oh my gosh, this would be so cool. Like, imagine you go to the museum or the roast and you just go and have a coffee with your old villagers. I always find it, I don't know, a little bit odd that they didn't make it so when you see a villager who has lived on your island before on a mystery island that they don't remember you. Like, come on. That would be so easy. It would be so easy just for them to go, oh hey Kim, good to see you, how have you been, how's whatever your island is. Yeah, that would be cool. I like it. Also, bring back New Leaf Sweets fence or else. It's a pretty great fence, that one, isn't it? And I do like it, yeah. Which brings me to, that actually makes me think about the fact that there are a lot of Pocket Camp items people would love to see in Animal Crossing New Horizons. Granted that the 2 games are made by different studios, different companies, I understand why there is different stuff in Pocket Camp, and because of the fact that there are a whole lot of microtransactions and monthly subscriptions and all that sort of thing in Pocket Camp. I get that that has more items in it, and I don't need all that. I'm okay that that stuff's not on New Horizons, but some of it's just a little bit more creative and cute and fun, and it's cool seeing the villagers interacting with the stuff in Pocket Camp. But yeah, I'll stop before I start ranting about that any longer. We've got a tweet from Kay that says, I've had a few ideas, but I don't know if others have thought of them before. One is to have bird watching the same way we have fishing and bug catching, etc. Different trees and seasons would have different birds, and the binoculars will be the tool. This would be amazing. I love this idea, especially because, it's not like you're catching the bird or trapping it or something. You're just using binoculars and, seeing what you see. I love this idea. It's something, I especially love it because it's not like it's an improvement on a current feature in the game. It's something completely new, and it's like blue sky thinking, and yes, please. Now I want this, please. The last one we have is a long one, so I'm going to go through it slowly, but it's from Ryan, who we did start with a couple of tweets from at the start. Ryan said, the biggest thing for me is that I need more daily goals. Essentially, I want villagers to need me in order to progress their own story. I think that we should earn friendship with villagers, but the rewards should be that we can gift them items, then decorate the interior, then exterior home, and then get the coveted photo. Yeah, I do think there needs to be some improvement on sort of the friendship goals. I do like how it works. I don't like how the one in Dreamlight Valley works, and this does remind me of that a little bit, but I do think you can find a happy medium between the two for sure. I also I can't this just reminded me, I can't remember who it was. I think it may have been Hank who mentioned it on Discord or in one of our stream chats. And Hank mentioned how Happy Home Designer was sort of a lead-in into Animal Crossing New Horizons, where you could tell that they were testing a few things to see if they would work in the new game. And we talked about how that possibly Happy Home Paradise is the same for whatever the next Animal Crossing game is. And I do think this is a really good point. The whole being able to customize homes, how some things work a little bit differently with designing and all that sort of thing in Happy Home Paradise compared to New Horizons. And yeah, it just makes me think of that, and how I do think some of the improvements that we've seen in Happy Home Paradise will be in the next game. And I think you won't have to say, in order to decorate your villagers' homes, redecorate them, you won't have to do 30 homes in Happy Home Paradise. Like I do think this is very likely. Carrying on, Ryan said, I also think a neat element to encourage various personality types would be to add a new crafting element. I would have each personality type gift you certain rewards for helping them with daily needs. Get them a fish for me for cooking, catch a bug for their collection, cook them a meal, etc. Yeah, so there is, I mean, granted, there is a little bit of this at the moment already. Like, you know how sometimes they might, actually it hasn't happened in a very long time, but how they might ask you to catch a certain fish or that sort of thing as part of the favors, or like, you know, requests from the villagers. And it's cool doing that, but it would be cool if it happened a lot more often, and also that it would, yeah, a bit more variety with it. That would be cool. Yeah, I like that idea. Absolutely. Villagers would then gift an item. After I should have read the second part of this. Villagers would then gift you an item needed to craft specific genres of DIY goods. Much like villagers gift us DIYs partial to their personality type, having to earn, or say for context, gems that vary per personality would encourage us to A. have a variety of villager types on the island, B. encourage villager engagement, and C. build better, more meaningful relationships with villagers. I think this dynamic would really reshape how we interact with those living on our island, or wherever we may find ourselves next. To add to this, more service projects would be cool. I liked building bridges and ramps, but there should be more we can collaborate with Tom Nook on. Seeing establishments that are public areas would be neat, and if there are too many to choose from, islands could really have a range of personality. Yeah, so I like this. I think it would be cool. Just I should read the rest, the examples. Ryan's given, imagine building a library where villagers can visit and read books. What about a playground with items that villagers could play on and ride? Maybe Brewster could have a coffee stand. Or this is how other NPCs could get the shops made. We elect to build the ones we want. I'd hope some aspects are customizable, like the businesses in Happy Home, where we remodel interiors and select what the outsides look like. And all, I want more life and meaning in the next game. I want to see my villagers interacting with places I build. I want to see them engage more with me and ask me for help. Heck, let me work for the NPCs if I want their services or exclusive items. Maybe I can collect iron, wood and clay for Cyrus in exchange for access to his shop where I can customize anything. Maybe Brewster lets me work as a barista to better increase my friendship with villagers by running errands or unlock exclusive Brewster items. I love the idea for all of that. More engagement equals more enjoyment. And I think all of this I completely agree with. It's the one thing that they do need to bring more into the next Animal Crossing game. We got so much new stuff in New Horizons, but there is a lack of depth with certain things. Some that we lost from previous games, and some that just would be really good in the next game. I would love to see a lot more tasks like this. I mean, it kind of makes me think of in Stardew Valley how you have the community center to rebuild, and it takes you months and like seasons, because you have to get so many different items from different seasons. And granted, I don't want something that's that big of a project, but it keeps the game a bit more interesting because you're building relationships at the time, but you're also learning how to mine, how to fish, all that sort of thing, with these goals. And it would be so cool to have something, yeah, just something a bit more in depth with the actual long-term gameplay for it, for sure. And I also think, like, it's one of Animal Crossing New Horizons limitations, how there's a point that you get to and you're just not wanting to play the actual gameplay anymore. You want to design and make pretty things, but there's a point where it's just like, why do I talk to my villagers each day? They're just gonna say the same 3 sentences. So I think some of this is definitely just down to limitation in what they could do on a Switch and fit in the game, but it would definitely be great to see some of this come into future games, for sure. I love that. Thank you so much, everyone, by the way, for these suggestions. They've kind of given me hope for the next game, but also I love seeing how invested people are with Animal Crossing in general, that they want to see these improvements and additions. And yeah, I really loved reading these. I hope you like my builds that I've been doing while you've been watching as well. And make sure you join me on Twitch for Cam and Bear live streams, because the island is progressing fast now and I'm having a lot of fun. If you've made it this far, let me know in the comments what you would love to see in the next Animal Crossing game. Anything. It doesn't have to be improvements on stuff that's in New Horizons. It doesn't have to be from previous games. Just anything at all. Go wild. I'd love to hear them, and I will reply to each and every one that I can and let me know my thoughts, because I love hearing this stuff, because it's a really great way to show how creative the community is. Like, we see all the amazing visual stuff, but this just kind of, yeah, I love seeing this creative imagination. So anything at all is great. Thank you again. Make sure you like this video and subscribe if you haven't yet. And by the way, we are not putting cheese shoes in the next game, I hope. Only some of you will know what I'm talking about with that, but yeah, no, we're good without cheese shoes, thanks. Thank you so much, and stay fresh, cheese bags. Bye.